Yeah, you can see me now. But you can check. I don't know, bro. What is it like? 4 people? 5 people? Yeah, five. We're gonna be building the Lego set. Big ass Lego set. Isaiah got me this shit back in like August 1st for my birthday, and I still haven't built this shit. So today I'm gonna build it, and I'm gonna build it. And since I get bored very easily, I'm gonna have to build it while watching YouTube, cause I'm that fucking bored. Honestly, how long do you think this is gonna take me, Jason? Fuck. Low key, this might take me quite a bit, so I'm gonna listen to the KSI song after this video. I want to see how many fucking. I want to see how many bags I have. Damn! It's a fucking. This is gonna take a while, dude. I can already imagine. Alright, yes, bro. I'm not done building. I have to take the fucking bags out. Bro, some of these bags, dude. An entire stream of playing Flying Tron Cat. We got bag one. What's up? We got bag one, two, three, four, five, six, and seven. Seven bags. Damn. I don't even know where I'm gonna put this. Low key, it's literally just YouTube with me having something to do while watching the YouTube. How are y'all doing today? We're doing good. We're doing good. Let me just dump bag one first, and then I'll start. I haven't built a Lego set, like a big one, in quite a while. I'm trying to remember what was the last big Lego set I actually like built. I think it was the Batman car, like the Batmobile from Robert Pattinson's Batman. I think that was the last big one. So it's been a while. I'm a build. I don't know how I'm gonna show like me building at the same time as the video. I didn't really think that through. I'm gonna be honest with you. Nope. That's what I'm saying. I didn't really think through it. You see, this is why you have a roommate, so he can help you with this shit. Wait, give me a sec. Nah, this way, and I'll just scoot this way. Holy shit. This shit look dumb as hell. There you go. Good enough. I fucks with it. Like that? Like you in it, bud. And I could just Damn, hard ass fucking laptop stand. Yeah, fuck it. That'll do. Alright.
But you can see better, can't you?
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, I'm in the video. Nah. Bruh.
Your legs making an appearance, son.
Bruh, so's my head, bruh.
We got the first minifig. Norman Osborn. Type shit. Green Goblin. Type shit. Alright. Fuck it. We gonna start the video.
There is a secret alien jellyfish invasion happening in
I
the
fucks with
bottom.
Alex Bell,
Mr.
dude.
Krabs has been replaced by a fake imaginary doppelganger. Larry the Lobster is secretly...
Can y'all hear? Plus, Spider-Man. We got 2 minifigs already. Alright, bet. We're gonna get this show on the road type
a
shit.
Bikini Bottom drug lord kingpin, and many, many more mind-blowing reveals in these 8 final SpongeBob mini-theories. I originally posted these theories as a part of my giant 4-hour-long final SpongeBob conspiracy.
All good? Type shit. Nah, I wasn't really... Originally, I was gonna stream this 4-hour video, and then I was like, damn, but I already watched, like, all the theories. I kind of want to go back to it, though. Like, after these, I wonder, like, they split it up. Y'all at the gym right now?
Compilation, but some people said it was kind of annoying to skip through the old content just to find the new theories, so I'm reposting just the mini theories here for your convenience, and also to milk the...
What's up?
What they doing?
Yeah, what y'all working at? What y'all working at on? What day is it today? I also get like Tom Holland's face, bruh. It's like, let me try it. So if I ever want to jerk off to it, I got it.
these theories for every cent I can.
Hello, I like money.
I worked hard on these mini theories. I think I deserve that. And hey, after you're
Fair
done,
enough.
still go check out that compilation because the old theories have a ton of new content in them too. Please enjoy the final SpongeBob theories I will ever post, and stick around till the end to hear what other shows and movies I will be covering next.
What's up?
You were struggling to show the Lego stuff.
I was, dude. I keep on forgetting that the camera is mirrored, so I keep on
Put it
going.
in front of your face next time.
I feel like you see, I keep on forgetting the camera is mirrored, so this way means that way. It fucking sucks, dude.
Thank you. Let's begin. So, here's a question I've been asked from the very start of making these SpongeBob theories. How is there
Pumpkinheads.
fire underwater? It's probably one of the most obvious contradictions in this show, and the creators will usually go out of their way to draw attention to the fact that it doesn't make any sense.
At least it's warm around the fire.
Hey, if we're underwater, how can there be a...
Whoever sent this obviously has no idea about the physical limitations of life underwater. Might as well throw these in the fire.
So finally, I will give the people my answer to this infamous age-old question, how is there fire underwater? It's just a cartoon. I'm not kidding, that's actually my answer.
That's it,
SpongeBob
though?
is not the real world. It's a cartoon. It has its own cartoon logic where absurd things like fire being underwater can happen. But that doesn't mean there's nothing here to theorize about. Just because it's cartoon logic doesn't mean it's not still logic. If you pay close attention, you can see that there is a consistent internal logic and rules to how this cartoon world really works. And I think how SpongeBob cartoon logic works is best explained in the Season 3 episode, Idiot Box. In this episode, SpongeBob and Patrick spend the day playing inside of a box, but Squidward keeps hearing impossible sound effects coming from it.
SpongeBob?
And how are they creating these sound effects?
How are you two making those noises?
Imagination.
With their imagination. And this is key to understanding how the SpongeBob world really works. This episode tells us that anything that is imagined in SpongeBob can physically come to life. We can see this imagination rule in every single episode of the show. The most obvious example of this is when a character is thinking and a thought bubble appears above their head. But in SpongeBob, these thought bubbles are real physical things. Other characters can see and physically interact with them.
Wait, hold on! My pen is out of ink. Plankton! You'll never get me formula, not even in a flashback.
Because things imagined in SpongeBob come to life. And this goes far beyond just thought bubbles. It explains how characters are constantly getting new props and costumes out of nowhere. Where did SpongeBob suddenly get this hat and sign? Where did he get this glove or all of these costumes that instantly appear and disappear? It's because SpongeBob is imagining.
I was so confused, dude. Like on the booklet, if I remember how to do it, dark like that. This piece right here, shit. I struggle with this shit so much. It's light gray, but it looks dark gray on the booklet. It's so fucking. I was standing here just looking for it for a minute, dude. Shit sucks.
All of these props. This can be used to explain almost every single absurd gag in this show.
Wait, Patrick, you're supposed to let me win, remember?
Patrick is imagining himself getting beat up here.
Said it's gonna be a good one, just wait and see.
SpongeBob is imagining the sun talking to him and burning his bedroom. And SpongeBob and Patrick are imagining that fire is able to exist underwater. And if you still don't believe me, look what happens when Patrick questions the logic behind the fire.
Hey, if we're underwater, how can there be a...
The moment they start doubting the logic of the fire, it disappears because they're no longer able to imagine it.
I fucks with this shit heavy, by the way. This shit is the. Bro, 7 pages? Shit's fucking crazy, dude. How did they mess up that much? Well, I mean, I can low-key see it. They're big ass corp. Never mind. Like I was saying about SpongeBob. Alex Bell has some amazing theories. I've been watching his theories for a while. His mini film was actually pretty cool too. I like that one too. If you haven't watched it, you should look, watch it. It's very interesting. The Feed the Muse was also cool. Overall, I liked all his projects that he's done so far.
This rule also seems to be limited by how imaginative each character is. Squidward, who never even got the idiot box to work, rarely ever manifests any imaginations, while SpongeBob, arguably the most imaginative character in the show, has created living characters like Doodle Bob and Bubble Buddy using his imagination, both of which have ended up continually reappearing throughout the entire show. Bubble Buddy even went on to create an entire bubble town full of bubble citizens, all stemming from SpongeBob's imagination. This theory also explains why Mrs. Puff gets trapped in so many delusions. They are literally manifesting around her because of her imagination. Okay, but what's the point of explaining all of this? Even if you didn't know the exact mechanics of it, you probably already understood that random stuff can just appear and disappear in a cartoon. I'm not really telling you anything groundbreaking. But once you fully understand this idea, it adds a whole new context to so many things in this show. One of the most interesting being how dreams seem to affect the world, specifically SpongeBob's dreams. In Season 1 Sleepy Time, SpongeBob dreams about finally getting his license, but then he crashes and Mrs. Puff takes his license away. And this is exactly what happens later in the Season 2 episode, No Free Rides. Mrs. Puff gives him a license, instantly regrets it, and after SpongeBob crashes his car, Mrs. Puff takes his license away. So, did SpongeBob's dream...
Am I gonna be SpongeBob, dude? Holy shit. This motherfucker is so imaginative. Has a lot of fucking energy and still has no license. I could be SpongeBob. I am fucking SpongeBob. I am fucking. No, I don't have my license.
Bruh,
I'm fucking SpongeBob.
how do you not have your license?
I am fucking SpongeBob SquarePants.
That is an important ID, bro, that you need to have.
What that even mean, bruh? Nah, just kidding.
Bro, expected to have a job.
dream predict this?
Bro, Trust me, I'll make it as a 9 to 5.
Social identification when it's all up.
What do you mean, bro?
Take your social with you, son?
I know my social by memory.
But no, you need like proof of ID.
I have a passport and shit, bro.
Oh shit. Okay. Never mind. I'm wrong.
I'm not gonna say my social on stream. Ah, fuck. I gotta do stickers. You know, that's the one thing I hate about Lego. Stickers. I suck at
You
stickers.
have the orange piece?
Yeah, the little...
Like the removal tool, use that.
What the fuck are the stickers? Oh, down here.
If you use the removal tool, it helps.
Bet.
Event, or did his imagination literally cause it to happen? Okay, you're not convinced yet? Don't worry. This is far from the only instance of this happening. In Season 2 Procrastination, SpongeBob dreams about his pineapple burning down, which happens later in Season 9 Gary's New Toy. In Season 5 Roller Cowards, he dreams about crashing on a Glove World roller coaster, and then it happens in Season 10 Don't Wake Patrick. Even dreams we don't see come true. In Squids on a Bus, Squidward becomes a bus driver for the day, and SpongeBob says this.
Bitch, tell him a little shut the fuck up and eat his canes. I know that's where he's at. He's probably eating his fucking canes right now, is he not? Eat your fucking canes, bitch. Eat your fucking canes.
I've always dreamed one day I'd board a bus and see you driving it.
Now, I already know what you're gonna say. SpongeBob's a very long-running show. A lot of these basic plots were bound to happen eventually, right? You know, it's like how The Simpsons can predict the future. But in Season 4's...
Low-key, what if I don't really care about the stickers and I just place them like this ain't half bad, right?
Fear of Krabby Patties, SpongeBob dreams about everyone in the Krusty Krab turning into giant killer Krabby Patties. That is a very weird and specific plot, and yet that's still...
Bro. Bro, it is not this serious. It is just a Lego set. I'm not gonna let you eat my punani. I'm sorry if I'm not making you, if I'm not giving you any honor, sir. I'm sorry. It's not just a Lego set. I get it.
Why the fuck am I watching this stream? You just look to my right.
What if I don't even know where I'm gonna put this? I don't have space for this. Why did I do this? That's why I never built it. I didn't have space for it. Space or time. Now I found time. Now I need to find space.
You got space.
I will kill you.
Exactly what happens 7 seasons later in Krabby Patty Creature Feature, when Mr. Krabs feeds people experimental Krabby Patties and turns everyone into giant mutant Krabby Patty monsters that try to
Probably just
hunt
put it on the
SpongeBob
shelf,
down.
Loki.
It seems like all of SpongeBob's dreams eventually manifest into real life because of the unlimited power of his imagination. Okay, that's all pretty interesting, right? But you want to know something really crazy? While researching this theory, I discovered something insane. Honestly, it may be one of the craziest discoveries I've ever found in this show. Are you ready? In the Season 6 special, Truth or Square, all of the characters get trapped inside...
Careful with what you say. The cock is watching and he ain't taking no prisoners. Keep them cheeks tight. I'm gonna put my cock in your cheeks.
of the massive ventilation system beneath the Krusty Krab.
There's an entire network of tunnels and air ducts underground.
At a certain point, Mr. Krabs gets separated from the group.
A crossroads. I'll go this way, and SpongeBob, you lead him down that way.
SpongeBob then takes a break to tell the story of when Mr. Krabs told him the Krabby Patty secret formula.
This reminds me of the time Mr. Krabs confided in me the Krabby Patty recipe. Mr. Krabs called me into his office.
And then something really strange happens. After the story, we cut back to the group, and Mr. Krabs is somehow back.
That's looking kind of crazy. I'm a chum on you. Fucking plankton. Bitch ass plankton. Fuck plankton. Me and all my homies hate plankton. I'm a Loki. What if I just buy the fucking Krabby Patty and bring it to stream, bro? Who gonna stop me? Who gonna say no to that shit? Exactly. I just gonna have to keep on sucking and sucking till I come.
With them after previously being separated. I'm serious. There's no scene of them being reunited. He's just gone and then back somehow, and it's never explained in this episode. I mean, what was even the point of wasting time and money animating them split up if they were just gonna immediately bring Mr. Krabs?
I'm gonna buy the Krabby Patty. I'm gonna buy it. There's like, bro, Wendy's.
That's your mouth.
Oh, fuck you. Wendy's, dude. Be prepared for me, dude. You know what I'm here for? On some Travis Scott shit, and then I'm gonna just blare out, I'm a goofy goober.
Back without any explanation.
I'll go this way, and SpongeBob, you lead him down that way.
You could literally remove the scene of Mr. Krabs separating from them and the episode would make total sense. But wait a second. Look at how SpongeBob's story ends.
You can never tell another living soul. Wait, hold on! Plankton! You'll never get me formula, not even in a flashback. SpongeBob.
Imaginary Mr. Krabs from inside of the thought bubble grabs Plankton and throws him down a vent. And when we cut back, Mr. Krabs is suddenly back sitting with the group. The obvious explanation is that this isn't the real Mr. Krabs. This is still the imaginary Krabs from SpongeBob's story who came to life. And the real Mr. Krabs is still...
My ass did not say free Diddy. I did not say that shit. Don't put this shit on me, bruh.
Somewhere lost inside of the Krusty Krab vents, and they never switched back. The Mr. Krabs they escape with is not the real Mr. Krabs. And every time we see Mr. Krabs
I fucking love the music that he uses, bro. This shit adds suspense, bro. Like it's fucking SpongeBob and they add this type of music, bro. Type shit, Alex. Type shit.
After this season 6 episode, he's actually a fake imaginary doppelganger, and the real one is still trapped beneath the Krusty Krab somewhere. It's the reason why Mr. Krabs in later seasons has become such a one-dimensional character, going from someone who was cheap but still genuinely cared about his employees and family to a one-note cartoon villain. It's because he actually was replaced by a flat, imaginary imitation of the original. And I know what you're gonna say, there's no way SpongeBob would imagine him to be that way. Well, think again.
Show me what you got.
Look at me. I'm Mr. Krabs. I love money. Every night I tuck me wallet in and tell it a bedtime story. Ooh, what's that you say? Me daughter Pearl.
Free Chris. Thank you, Diddy. Thank you for saying that shit, Diddy. You know, I fuck with Diddy now. I fucks heavy with Diddy. Diddy a real one.
Needs an operation? I'll do it myself and save a nickel.
That'll do, SpongeBob.
And that is the imagination theory.
Type
7
shit.
more mini theories left. Woo!
This is your brain when you're struggling to focus.
Oh, boo, you
And
too
this
bad.
is your
Boo.
brain.
You too
You're in
bad.
the zone.
Boo.
Spooky, scary skeletons and shivers down your spine.
I don't support deity, bro. You putting words in my mouth. Words in my mouth.
Then you gotta put something else in your mouth.
I'm gonna kill you, Jason. Dang.
Just a heads up, some of these new mini theories kind of build off of my old SpongeBob conspiracies. So if you've never seen my television theory, I recommend watching that.
I fucks with the television theory. Yep.
So there's this viral
Should I watch the television theory again for a refresher, or just keep it going? Like, do I watch the and come back, or should I just stay? Alright, bet.
image that's gone around the internet that points out a really funny detail about this show. There seems to be a frightening number of miniature dead human skeletons in SpongeBob. And it's a really funny observation, but it's also really strange because why are there a bunch of mini dead human skeletons in SpongeBob? Like, the
I'll tell you
animators
why.
already have a generic design for a fish skeleton. Why are they going out of their way to make these human skeletons? They're obviously much more
The television theory was the one that like stated that they're all on a television show and shit, right? Like the film crew and all that.
detailed and harder to draw. And this is something we see in both early and modern SpongeBob. Well, I think the television theory actually provides a pretty good explanation for this. We know there's tons of human scuba divers secretly filming the show, and it
I
even
got it
looks
right.
like some of them are fish-sized. And we know there is shrinking technology in this show. So, like I've already said, I think it's fair to assume that
Bag one done. Here's the platform. Here's what it looks like. Yeah. Fuck you. Motherfuckers out here hating that shit for no reason. Yes, I heard you. Type shit.
humans shrunk themselves down to better film these characters undetected, which explains why we see so many tiny human skeletons. There's the crew members who sadly passed away during the filming of SpongeBob. They
Damn.
are deep underwater after all. It's not the safest place for humans to be. And
True.
that's about all I had to say about this topic. It's not actually that interesting. I probably wouldn't have even bothered
Here comes the Alex Bill fucking plot twists that he always does.
making this separate mini-series.
Except
It wasn't for a very interesting piece of
There you go.
SpongeBob history that was recently made public. The original SpongeBob Pitch Bible, the document created by Steven Hillenburg in 1997 to pitch the show to Nickelodeon, was just recently finally made available to the public. And it is full of fascinating early ideas and concept art for the show. But what's interesting to me is that much like the show itself, the Pitch Bible is presented like a fictional in-universe report from a team of deep-sea divers discovering Bikini Bottom for the first time. An afternoon ascent into the deep crystalline gulf, which plummets from the island's coral base, revealed a natural wonder which had so long eluded the eyes of mankind. We had indeed found Sponge Boy, which was the original name.
Sponge
for
Boy.
SpongeBob. There before us, glistening in the glow of our dive lamps, sat a submerged treasure unlike any other in the world. We were afforded a first-hand glimpse into the character of Sponge Boy and his world. It's crazy that even the pitch Bible for this show has lore. If this doesn't prove the television theory, I don't know what does. But there's something in this Bible that I always thought was a little strange. On page 12, there's a dedication section. It describes one of the first expeditions to Bikini Bottom taken by a deep-sea diver named Bucky Leavitt, using a new and untested diving suit, which ultimately imploded from the undersea pressures. Bucky died making the only known map of Bikini Bottom. It is to Bucky and his pioneer spirit that we dedicate this research. It's kind of a strange thing to include in a pitch for a kids show, of all things. The story seems to be inspired by Benjamin Leavitt, the inventor of the suit shown in this photo, but there's no record of him ever dying during an expedition. So it seems like this story about Bucky was completely made up just to add more lore to the show. So it then begs the question, if he is a character in this universe, where is Bucky's body? Could he possibly be one of the human skeletons we've seen throughout the show? Well, we know Bucky died in his old prototype diving suit, so I think his body would probably still be inside of it. So the real question is, do we know of any diving suits in Bikini Bottom? And yes, we do. We see it almost every episode. SpongeBob's television. SpongeBob's TV is clearly supposed to be an old diving suit helmet, but it's strange because it's so small compared to diving suits we've seen worn by other humans. So either this diving suit is from a shrunken human, or it's been compressed down to a smaller size by the pressures of the sea, just like Bucky's. We even see SpongeBob's TV design was a part of the original pitch Bible. I think there's a very good chance that this is supposed to be at least the head of Bucky Leavitt. I think every time SpongeBob is watching TV, he's actually staring directly at a dead human skull. And if you don't believe me, in Season 10's Whirly Brain, SpongeBob and Patrick fight over the TV and actually pull it apart. And for the very first time ever, we get a look inside. It's an extremely fast moment, but if you go frame by frame, you'll see that inside of SpongeBob's TV is what looks like a human skull.
This is why I fuck with Alex Bell heavy. Nobody else doing this shit but him. Nobody else but him.
And that is Skeleton Theory. Rest in peace, Bucky.
Isaiah, I don't know if I'm gonna stream it, but you should watch all his other theories. Maybe I will one day. They're amazing. They're like Alex Bale on YouTube. Amazing ass SpongeBob theories. Trust.
This is the only mini theory that's just like a straight up part 2 of one of my old theories. So obviously, if you haven't seen the original Mrs. Puff theory yet, then it probably won't make too much sense.
Now I want to watch the Mrs. Puff theory for Isaiah. Cause like he won't be able to get this shit unless he watches that. You're not. Sorry.
So, there's been a lot of new evidence that's come out about Mrs. Puff since I posted my theory. Some I already added to the main theory, like her real name being discovered, so go watch that if you haven't already. But I saved some really cool discoveries and new ideas just for this mini theory. Like, in Lighthouse Louie, I missed this the first time, but if you look closely in her pile of junk, you can actually see a dead police officer's corpse! Oh my god! Ah! Ah! Actually, no, this is just an obstacle from her training course. But I bet you didn't know, in Camp Coral, we see her dispose of the real Mrs. Puff's dead body! Ah! 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 Also no, this is just a piñata that looks like her. Okay, but they're clearly trying to mess with us at this point. Before I get into the actual new discoveries, I want to talk about some alternative ideas I've come up with for some parts of the Mrs. Puff theory. As I've already said, I'm not the biggest fan of where I took the third part of this theory. I really wanted there to be this big reveal about why the prison is forcing Mrs. Puff to teach SpongeBob, when in reality it just makes so much more sense that, like in Doing Time, every time Mrs. Puff sees SpongeBob in jail, she's actually just hallucinating.
Good day, class. I must be having a nightmare.
You know, there's just way more direct evidence in the show to support this, as opposed to this convoluted Warden theory. And it's further supported by my new imagination mini theory from earlier in this video. We know the show exists in a world where things you imagine can...
He dedicated to this shit, bro. Y'all not seeing the vision.
I recommend drinking while driving.
Y'all not seeing the vision that he's seeing. He watching the stream while driving, bro. What we talking about perchance? Bitch, we know you were. Finally, after like 10 minutes. Doc Ock. Hell yeah.
can easily come to life. And Mrs. Puff is constantly imagining her fear of SpongeBob or the guilt from her past mistakes. So it makes sense that she would get trapped in her own delusions so often. But there's always been this big loose end in my theory that I've always wanted to find a way to wrap up. We know Mrs. Puff prematurely gave a license to one of her previous students in New Kelp City, and that led to the city being destroyed.
Local consensus places the blame on this negligent, selfish driving instructor.
But who was Mrs. Puff's original student before SpongeBob? And while we haven't gotten any new evidence about this, I think I've got two strong candidates for who it could be. One of the best comments I got from the Mrs. Puff video was the idea that the original student was actually SpongeBob's cousin, Stanley S.
Stanley!
Hi, Squidward. I'd like you to meet my cousin Stanley. We're related.
There's two of them?
Stanley is a character we meet
Tua! He said it!
Stanley. We're related.
There's two of them?
Tua.
Shut up.
He said Tua. He says Tua. Holy shit.
Talk to him?
Exactly, talk to her.
Stanley is a character we meet for only one episode in Season 5. He's SpongeBob's cousin from out of town, and he's extremely accident-prone, even more than SpongeBob.
Yeah.
Now, we don't know what town he's from, but we know his Uncle Sherm sent him away because he was too destructive. So he totally fits the idea of Mrs. Puff's former student that probably destroyed New Kelp City. It would also add another layer to why Mrs. Puff is so tortured by SpongeBob specifically. He would literally look and act exactly like her former student.
There's two of them?
So yeah, I think this is totally plausible. Great comment. The only thing that kind of holds this theory back is the
draw
lack
something.
of any actual concrete connection between Stanley and Mrs. Puff. Like, unfortunately, they're never in the same episode. But I think I have another possible candidate for this mystery student. Someone who we actually
Who the
see
fuck is that?
interact with Mrs. Puff. In the Mrs. Puff theory, I theorized that the entire episode Doing Time was all imagined by Mrs. Puff. And everything we see, even small details like her changing prison uniforms, are symbolic for what's really going on inside of her head. But
Tony Hawk? Tony Hawk Tua? Can't do this shit no more.
if that's true, then what does this random other prisoner that keeps showing up symbolize?
Yeah, hey there, Puff Mama. What's today's grub?
Hi, Donna. It's Chili.
I wouldn't have thought much about it if it wasn't for this very interesting moment where she returns at the end of the episode.
Oh, it's just my imagination again.
So what's for dinner tonight, Puff Mama? Chili?
I think this could be implying that Donna is Mrs. Puff's original student. We see her driving Mrs. Puff's boat in a free-fall crash, just like her old student probably also did. And then she literally gets replaced by SpongeBob.
So what's for dinner tonight, Puff Mama? Chili?
Ah, forget it.
Just like how we actually replaced her original student. So yeah, I think both Donna and Stanley are pretty good candidates for the original student. Stanley is a bit more thematically fitting, but Donna actually has some direct evidence in the show. So yeah, I could see it being either of them, but
Oh, don't put that shit on my soul. I would smash Donna. Y'all not seeing a vision like I am. Y'all not seeing it. Simply am not. Y'all not seeing it.
that's all just tying up loose ends. The real reason I decided to cover Mrs. Puff again in this mini-theory is because of two major new developments in recent SpongeBob episodes. The first is in the Season 13 episode, Arbor Day Disarray.
Here's what is
Oh, that shit hit me, bro.
Episode, Sandy gives everyone trees she grew, and we get this scene between Mrs. Puff and her tree.
I love talking to someone who knows how to keep a secret. I can finally tell someone what really happened when I pulled that job in Shell City.
What really happened when I pulled that job in Shell City. They're still adding more mysteries to solve about Mrs. Puff. It sounds like Mrs. Puff did some kind of heist or maybe has some connection to Shell City.
Man, he just believing anyone and everyone. Isaiah, have a thought for yourself, bro. Don't just believe what Armando say. It's Armando, bro. Don't believe what he says, bro.
From the SpongeBob movie. And if you remember, I theorized that Shell City was the place Mr. Puff, her former dead husband, was being held. They end up setting off the smoke detector, which activates the sprinkler system and brings all the dead fish back to life, including a very familiar looking pufferfish hanging from the ceiling. Mr. Puff is alive. So, is it possible this job is somehow related?
Bro, just trust. Just turn off your brain and watch it, bro. Trust.
To Mr. Puff. Well, before we get into that, there is one more new development we need to talk about. In the season 14 episode, Hysterical History, for the very first time ever, we actually do get to definitively see Mr. Puff when he was alive.
Holy shit, Mr.
Bikini
Puff.
Bottom's own titan of industry, Mr. Puff, ran the first successful boat assembly line.
So, this episode is just a bunch of flashbacks from Bikini Bottom's history, and we learn that Mr. Puff was actually a wealthy businessman who ran a boat factory. And
You didn't know there was a Mr. Puff, dude? Remember when like Mr. Krabs wanted to date a Mrs. Puff and he's like, so is there a Mr. Puff? And then SpongeBob was like, we don't talk about him or something like that. Cause he like dead or some shit. No? Y'all missing out, bro. Go watch SpongeBob again.
And Sandy later confirms that this is all actually true. This isn't just a story SpongeBob made up. Now, Mr. Puff looks and sounds a lot like Mrs. Puff.
Speed up, line number 5.
And the other flashbacks in this episode seem to be about ancestors of our main characters. So, maybe...
Yeah. This is flashbacks, bruh. Flashbacks. From the past. The past.
Maybe this is actually supposed to be just a relative of Mrs. Puff, not her dead husband. But remember, Mrs. Puff is not originally from Bikini Bottom, and we know her last name isn't really Puff, it's Blowfish. So this is most likely her former husband, Mr. Puff, before he died. And unfortunately, this does seem to disprove my Mr. Puff theory, because he clearly looks very different than the pufferfish we see in Shell City. But even if this pufferfish wasn't Mr. Puff, I don't think I was wrong about Mr. Puff being at Shell City. The fact that he's shown as a dried up, hanging pufferfish with googly eyes is way too similar to be a coincidence. And then there's the fact that they just confirmed Mrs. Puff has some sort of history with Shell City specifically. I think Mr. Puff was abducted and taken to Shell City, but the reason why we don't see him in the SpongeBob movie is probably because he was already sold to someone else by that point, meaning he was unfortunately never saved by SpongeBob. So that leaves us with one final question. What was the job Mrs. Puff pulled at Shell City, and what does it have to do with her husband's death? Well, my first guess is that this job was some sort of rescue mission to save Mr. Puff from Shell City, and she failed. But listen to how she talks about it.
I can finally tell someone what really happened when I pulled that job in Shell City.
Whatever happened at Shell City, she's happy about it. In fact,
Whatever happens in Shell City stays at Shell City. Y'all know what I'm saying, bro?
Something Diddy would say.
Exactly. Something Diddy would say.
it's kind of a sinister, nefarious happiness.
What really happened when I pulled that job?
She's not devastated that her husband was lost forever, she's happy about it. I never really considered this before, but could Mrs. Puff actually be responsible for her husband's death? Did Mrs. Puff kill her husband?
Did he? Did he?
I mean, we know Plankton sold Neptune's crown to Shell City.
I just wanted to say thanks again for selling me the crown. I sold it to a guy in Shell City.
So it does seem possible to arrange for this kind of thing to happen. And Arbor Day Disarray ends with Mrs. Puff's tree ratting her out to the police.
Hello, police department? I got a lead on that Shell City job.
I gotta go.
Why would the Bikini Bottom police care about something she did at a human gift shop? I mean, they didn't care when SpongeBob stole from there. The only explanation is that she wasn't stealing from humans, she was giving them something, or someone, from Bikini Bottom, Mr. Puff. Mrs. Puff arranged for fishermen to kidnap and kill her husband.
Telling you, all the bad bitches are always murderers, bro. All the bad bitches. Like Mrs. Puff.
That's what really happened at Shell City. But why? Well, other than Mr. Puff kind of seeming like a jerk who mistreats his employees, he's also very wealthy, which means that when he died, in a way that can't be traced back to Mrs. Puff, as his wife, she would inherit his money. Which explains how Mrs. Puff, who previously had to abandon her entire life and start over from scratch in Bikini Bottom, could afford to open a massive boating school. Maybe this was her plan all along. Get close to some rich jerk, marry him, and then have him killed to inherit his money. These little breadcrumbs they've given us have told us so much more about Mrs. Puff's past. But also, maybe, just maybe, her future as well. Mr. Puff was portrayed as a greedy, unethical capitalist who only cared about money, even at the expense of his employees. And
That sounds a lot like Mr. Krabs. I think I just beat him to what he was gonna say, but damn. Rip Krabs, I guess.
does that remind you of anyone else in Mrs. Puff's life?
Unhand that penny or the arm comes off! Keep on trucking, SpongeBob! How could you trade SpongeBob for 62 cents?
62 cents.
Think I could've got a mark?
Got more?
If she did it to Mr. Puff, who's to say she's not planning to do it again to Mr. Krabs? Maybe this is the entire reason why she's dating him. Let's just hope Mr. Krabs isn't planning on getting married anytime soon. The imaginary doppelganger Mr. Krabs, that is. And that is the Mrs. Puff theory, part 2.
I respect it. She a bag chaser. She's a bag chaser, bro.
Incredibly excited because we get to talk to the voice of Karen today, Jill Talley.
I love trying to make sense out of SpongeBob. My adorable nephew called me up and he just was like, "Hey, Jill, do you know about this? What do you make of this? Like, what do you think about this Mrs. Puff?" And I didn't know what he was talking about. It was like a fever dream because I wasn't aware of all the conspiracy stuff. So all I'm hearing on the phone is criminal, past clues. And I'm going, what is he talking about? I said, I'm going to look into it, Frankie. So then I went online and I started looking at it and it was fascinating. I was in. I was going, I want to know too.
That's cool. That's cool. That's actually cool as fuck. That like he's getting recognition from like actual actors and shit. That's cool.
Okay, this next part isn't actually a new mini theory. It's actually just me debunking the popular Krabby Patty is crab meat theory that people keep commenting about, just because it annoys me. But don't worry, there's still gonna be 8 new actual theories in this video. This is just a little bonus.
Bet. These damn ads.
That's what I taste like.
So, a lot of people think that Krabby Patties are actually made of crab meat, and Mr. Krabs is going around killing all the crabs in Bikini Bottom. This is the comment I will get for the rest of my life.
It's crab meat.
Actual crab? I mean, why else would Mr. Krabs be the only crab in Bikini Bottom? Except for his mom, and his dad, and his nephews. Okay, but there's no crabs outside of his family, except for this guy, and this doctor, and this kid, and these 2 crabs, and this circus guy. But besides them, there's no crabs in Bikini Bottom. Okay, even if there is not, like, a lot of crabs, there's equally not a lot of sponges, or starfish, or pufferfish, or squirrels in Bikini Bottom. Bikini Bottom is like 90% generic fish. But then why is it named the Krusty Krab? Cause the owner's a crab, and that's his last name. But even if we ignore that, it's like, why would Mr. Krabs advertise his dark secret as the name of his restaurant? But then why is the Krusty Krab shaped like a crab trap? Okay, this is actually the one good piece of evidence in this theory. I think it's a little ambiguous whether it's supposed to be a crab trap or a lobster trap, so I did some digging, and Patchy actually calls it a lobster trap in a SpongeBob DVD bonus.
The Krusty Krab looks like a New England-style lobster trap, but no, it just traps the pocket change of Bikini Bottom's hungry denizens.
They also find a very similar looking building in Camp Coral and call it a lobster trap.
Oh no! We've walked into a real life lobster trap!
I could maybe see this evidence kind of working, but you kind of expect if this was their secret intention, they would like call it a crab trap, you know? But what about the scene where Mr. Krab eats one and he says that it tastes like him?
So that's what I taste like.
This is supposed to be the smoking gun piece of evidence that's all over TikTok, but nobody actually shows the clip with context.
Mommy, my Krabby Patty tastes funny.
Well, no wonder. It's all old and dried out, like that man right there. Now put that thing where it belongs, in the garbage.
La 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 la.
Well, little Patty, we're two of a kind. We've both lost our luster. So that's what I taste like.
Mr. Krabs says the patty tastes like him because the lady called the patty old and dry like him. And he's been feeling insecure about his age in this episode. Like, I'm not saying the Pearl's mom theory is the best theory ever, but it's better than this shit. Come on!
Hell yeah. Type shit.
So, if there's one thing I'd probably change about my evolution theory, it would be the second part about the war.
After the war, Krabs stayed secluded in a deep depression that seemed endless.
I think there definitely was a war in Bikini Bottom, but I don't think it was between a...
Holy shit, this is gonna take a long time. What time is it? It's already 11, bro. Damn.
Evolved and primitive fish anymore. There is just way more evidence that the war Mr. Krabs fought in was actually a war between fish and humans. And I think this concept for a human war has been secretly present in the show from the very start. Every single building in Bikini Bottom is made out of some sort of debris from the human world. Now, this is a reference to how marine ecosystems in real life often form around things that fell from the surface. But the debris isn't always just random objects or pollution. A surprising amount of the buildings feel like they're from the aftermath of a massive war. There are a ton of buildings made out of sunken ships, but there's also anchors.
We finished the second bag. 5 more bags to go. We're almost there, guys. Woohoo.
Submarines, lobster traps, bait and tackle boxes, undersea mines. There's even a building made out of a dead bucket of fish. If you really look at the show's aesthetic, it gives the impression that Bikini Bottom is an Adventure Time style post-apocalyptic wasteland where a massive war between humans and fish took place. Mr. Krabs Navy Convention Center is literally a giant torpedo. We get further confirmation of this as early as Season 1 Hooky, when a bunch of humans start fishing in Bikini Bottom. Pay close attention to how Mr. Krabs reacts.
They're back! They're back, I tell you! I saw it with my own eyes!
They're back. Mr. Krabs has dealt with this before, probably because these were the same hooks from the war he fought in. From humans' perspective, they're just fishing, but for the citizens of Bikini Bottom, this was a brutal war. And listen to what he says about what happens if the hooks catch you.
They cook you, and then they eat you, or worse.
What could be worse than that?
Gift shop.
You'll end up in gift shops. This gives a whole new context to the Shell City gift shop we see in the SpongeBob movie.
Wait a second. Those fish are dead.
All these dead fish are victims from the human war. Look, the gift shop in Hooky even has a very similar sign to the Shell City gift shop. Among the dead fish in Shell City, we specifically see the same type of royal seahorses King Neptune uses, which makes sense because as King of the Sea, he would probably be the one commanding the
Andrew Garfield Spider-Man. Hell yeah.
army to go fight the humans. Movie Neptune even talks about Shell City like he has personal experience with it.
My crown is in the Forbidden Shell City!
No one
one who's gone to Shell City has ever returned.
I guess this could also mean Mr. Puff was a victim of the war, but I kind of prefer the idea from my new Mrs. Puff mini theory. We also see giant hooks all over Mr. Krabs' wall of memorabilia, along with other human fishing tools. There's even a picture of the Bikini Bottom museum ship before it was sunk in the war and later turned into a museum. There's also this picture of a human pirate. And before you say anything, no, this is not Patchy. It's probably just someone he fought in the war. Listen, I still definitely think these pictures could be Pearl's mother, and she's still the source of the Krabby Patty meat, but instead of Mr. Krabs killing her, she was probably just a casualty of the human war, and Mr. Krabs just found her dead body and adopted her orphan daughter. There's also the Hook Museum, which with this context looks much more just like a straight up war museum. Now, these are smaller hooks, so I initially thought maybe this was just a museum of hooks made by evolved fish to catch primitive fish like clams, but listen closely to the audio Mr. Krabs is listening to.
The three-pronged jig hook was first sighted in local waters more than 100 years ago.
The hook was first sighted in local waters more than 100 years ago. This is definitely a museum of human hooks, and we now know this war has been going on for at least 100 years. There's also tons of movies and TV shows in Bikini Bottom based around the horrors of hooks.
Tonight's frightening feature.
The idea of this human war is everywhere in the show, and it's played a big role in shaping the culture of Bikini Bottom. But here's the strange thing about all of this. The Bikini Bottom we see today is not at war. The only time we see humans fishing in Bikini Bottom is in this one single episode, and Mr. Krabs even says they're back.
They're back!
As if this is not a normal occurrence. This implies that the humans previously stopped attacking for some reason. So, what ended this great human war that lasted for at least 100 years? Well, clearly humans and fish have a much more peaceful relationship now. The entire SpongeBob SquarePants show is made by humans with the help of certain fish, including Mr. Krabs, who used to fight against them. What if the reason why the war ended was because of this show? The original human research team that was mentioned in the SpongeBob Pitch Bible showed the world that Bikini Bottom had extremely intelligent life and proved that instead of killing the fish, they could peacefully profit off of them by making their lives into a TV show. SpongeBob doesn't even know it, but I think he might be the reason why a 100-year-long brutal war between humans and fish has come to a peaceful end. And that is the human war.
Yeah, type shit, bro. Damn. Gotta finish this video.
Upgrade thousands of games with one install. You can get super.
So, in 2021, Nickelodeon released a new spin-off show all about Patrick, called The Patrick Star Show.
Hi, I'm Patrick Star, and I live with my parents. This is my dad. This is my mom. This is my sister. This is my grandpa. And this is my show.
And I was really interested in it because it seems to kind of acknowledge the fact that it is a TV show, with Patrick actually being filmed and putting on a show as part of the plot of each episode.
Coming to you from the Star Family home, it's time for the Patrick Show! And here's your wide-awake host,
But it's weird. It's supposed to be a prequel when Patrick was still living with his family, but the Patrick's parents and sister characters that were established in the main show have been replaced by completely different people in this spin-off. This has been a long-running mystery about the Patrick Star Show that many people have asked me to talk about, but a storyboard artist for the Patrick Star Show actually addressed these contradictions in a very funny Twitter thread where he offers many different possible explanations for why Patrick's family looks different. These range from Patrick just perceiving reality differently, to him just assuming whatever starfish is closest to him is his family, to some kind of crazy timeline manipulation. But my favorite is just that they were recast by the in-universe showrunners, and Patrick's too dumb to notice. Also, casual television theory confirmation, no biggie, we're used to it at this point. Now, I watched a good amount of this show when it was first coming out, and there wasn't really too much here for me to analyze, except for one very interesting character, Grandpat, and it ties directly in with my Neptune theory. Grandpat is allegedly Patrick's grandfather, even though we've never heard about him until now.
Mom, Dad, who's this guy?
I'm your grandfather, Grandpat. Must we do this every morning?
He's sort of a generic, cranky old man character who's apparently somehow been alive since prehistoric times.
Back in my day, we were food. It was way back in the Patrolithic period of early cave stars.
But he's not really that notable or interesting of a character, or that's at least what I thought, until I noticed something strange in the episode Squidina's Little Helper.
Sounds like we're doing a puppet show. Follow me. The secret crawl space runs all over the house.
As characters move through a crawl space at Patrick's house, one of them briefly opens the door and finds a weird secret room full of Roman architecture with Grandpat inside.
Who's a hungry boy? Dig in so you can grow up big and bristly.
The puppets are this way.
It's kind of a weird throwaway gag, but there's not really much to it, and they immediately move on with the episode without ever addressing it again. But something about this tiny, insignificant moment really stuck with me, even months after watching this episode. And when I watched it again, I couldn't help but notice that the door leading to the room is labeled XIV. The Roman numerals for 14 for seemingly no reason. Is this supposed to be the 14th room in the house or what? But then I remembered we've heard the number 14 before in the season 4 episode, Crusty Towers.
This room is hideous. Redesign it. Neptune the 14th will be nice.
What?
King Neptune is also referred to as the 14th. Is it possible that there's some sort of connection between Grandpat and King Neptune? I mean, that's even the way you would write a king's ordinal number, with the Roman numerals XIV. Also, the room is full of fancy royal Roman architecture, and the way Grandpat is relaxing and eating grapes like a king. Hear me out, hear me out. Is it possible Grandpat is King Neptune? We know Neptune has the power to change the way people look.
What the?
And it would explain why Grandpat, just a normal sea star, is able to be alive as far back as prehistoric times. He even has a prehistoric drawing of a starfish wearing a crown in his bedroom. This could even explain why they thought Patrick was a descendant of royalty in Rule of Dumb.
Which makes you a descendant of royalty. You are a king.
But wait a second. Why would the King of the Sea be pretending to be Patrick's cranky old grandpa? Well, remember, the Patrick Star Show is a prequel to the main series, and if you believe my Neptune theory, then you know Neptune wasn't always the king of the sea. It's likely at some point he stole the throne and Poseidon's wife. So, what if this takes place before Neptune became king?
When King Neptune was a little Neptune, his mother set him adrift in a river.
When he was all alone, abandoned by his own mother, desperate to find the family that he was denied his whole life. So, how would he get one? Well, it turns out that there just happens to be one family in the sea that's dumb enough not to notice when new family members are added or replaced. The Patrick Star family. So, he transforms himself into the cranky old grandfather character, Grandpat, and secretly inserts himself into the family without their knowledge.
Who's this guy?
I have no idea. Do you see so?
So you can see him too, Bunny? I thought I was the only one.
I'm your grandfather, Grandpat. Must we do this every morning?
Finally giving him the family love he's been searching for his entire life.
Grandpat! We love you.
And if this all still sounds far-fetched to you, listen closely to the music we hear in this scene.
Who's a hungry?
More stickers. All these flipping stickers, bro. God. This shit takes way too damn long. I'm gonna just call it a night after this bag and then just finish it on the next stream. Then that gives me something else to do for next stream. Huh? Thinking in the future here. Yeah, I'm not seeing a vision. No, I'm not seeing the vision. Almost done with this one. Yay. Damn.
Boy, dig in so you can grow up big and bristly.
This small piece of music is called Roman Legions, composed by John Kakavas, and it was used only one other time in SpongeBob.
Who's a hungry boy?
Behold Neptune, god of the sea, with his mighty trident.
In the season 10 episode Trident Trouble, when they are introducing none other than King Neptune the 14th. Grandpat is King Neptune, and that is the Grandpat theory. Or at least it was until they released the episode Neptune's Ball, where we see King Neptune and Grandpat in the same room.
Man, I love your show.
And I'm really conflicted about this because yes, this obviously debunks my theory. Neptune and Grandpat can't be the same person if they're both in the same room. But then why does all of this evidence feel so specific and intentional? Like, most evidence I find can usually be explained as an Easter egg or a coincidence, but like, I can't think of any other reason why this random room would have the Roman numerals 14 on it. Maybe this was something they were setting up but changed their minds about, or maybe there's some sort of time travel shenanigans going on, because we know Patrick's family has a time machine in this show that they use all the time.
Egypt.
Or maybe I'm just in denial and I'm overthinking small little random details. Like I've said, these are the theories that didn't make the cut for their own videos, so they're not all gonna be as strong as my main theories. But even if it's unlikely, I'm still gonna hold out hope that maybe I'll be proven right someday. Oh well, on to the next theory.
Damn, another ad? Yeah, fucking ads, bro. Alright, Loki. Almost done with the third bag. Then I'm gonna call it a night, so I could just do this shit for another stream. Cause I'm Loki. It's a little late for some people, and I get it. It's a Tuesday night, so I might just call it a night here. After I'm done with this bag, which is like one more page, so it's fairly easy. Damn. I think I lost a piece. Whoops. Yep, it's gone. Rip, low key. Damn. This fast, bro. I freaking lost a piece. I don't really need it though. Oh no, I didn't lose it. Hey man, I found it. I lied again, I didn't find it. I'm just gonna... improvisation is the best thing ever. I like how they actually give her a brain. Yeah, this is what I built. The Statue of Liberty's head, along with the platform, along with Green Goblin, Norman Osborn Green Goblin, and he has his little pumpkin type shit. Tom Holland Spider-Man shooting a little web. We got Doc Ock, which I actually like this Doc Ock build. Can I make him stand on his two? I don't think I can. But yeah, I fuck with his build heavy. Gives him a little articulation and shit. So yeah, nice for Doc Ock. I get Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, and he does have a face change, so I can change his face. He is a little worried. Alright, but that's it for tonight, low key. I'm gonna call it a night. I'm finish this hopefully on Thursday night while listening to new music and finishing this video. Yeah. Guys have a good night.